Here we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jasper Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next. Happy Tuesday. Wow. In the last 24 to 36 hours, a number of stories have come out. But I'm going to concentrate on this one in this first video. This is a major boom because of social media and its potential impact on, of course, freedom of speech, you and me. But let's take a look. This comes out of The Guardian. Of course, big news is Jack Dorsey steps down as Twitter chief executive. Dorsey co-founded the site in 2006, posted the world's first tweet, and we'll talk about his replacement. Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey has stepped down from his executive role at the social media company. Dorsey will be replaced by Chief Technology Officer Parag Agrawal, the company announced on Monday. The surprise move ends Dorsey's much criticized tenure as chief executive officer of both Twitter and Square, his digital payments company, which led to Twitter stakeholders Elliott Management and billionaire investor Paul Singer calling him to step down from one of those roles. Twitter shares rose 11% after the news broke on CNBC before being briefly suspended. The company said Dorsey would step down immediately, but Dorsey would remain on the board until Twitter's stockholder meeting in 2022. What could that possibly mean? Could it be a complete ouster? We'll see. I've decided to leave Twitter because I believe the company is ready to move on from its founders. My trust in Parag as Twitter CEO is deep. His work over the past 10 years has been transformational. I'm deeply grateful for his skill, heart, and soul. It's time to lead. It is his time to lead, quote, Jack Dorsey. Agrawal has been with Twitter for a decade and has served as CTO since 2017. Quote, I want to thank the board for their confidence in my leadership and Jack for his continued mentorship, support, and partnership, said Agrawal. In his most recent tweet on the site, posted Sunday, Dorsey wrote, I love Twitter. Now, we're going to jump from that to this. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, of course, new CEO after Jack Dorsey is stepping down, quote, why should I distinguish between white people and racists? You knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time. Everybody knows that Jack Dorsey was the front man for the last decade. He never truly really had power to make the decisions, as we've seen on a number of interviews, including one with Joe Rogan. Incoming Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, who will shortly replace Jack Dorsey as head of the far-left social media company, uncritically repeated a quote from 2010, yes, 2010, suggesting that there should be no need to distinguish between white people and racists. Yes, those dirty whites. Quote, if they're not going to make a distinction between Muslim and extremists, then why should I distinguish between white people and racists? Tweeted Agrawal in quotes. It is unclear who he was quoting. While anti-white racism has become common, has become the flavor of the day, in many U.S. institutions, including top corporations, Agrawal made his comment in 2010, years before Black Lives Matter movement would arrive to push American corporations to bend the knee, to bend over with no KY, even further towards the left on issues of race. Relatively unknown in Silicon Valley till now, Agrawal was announced as Jack Dorsey's successor shortly after the Twitter co-founder announced he would step down from his role after a 6-year stint as CEO. Dorsey, who presided over the company's shift from what his predecessor called the free speech wing of the free speech party. Yes, that's what Twitter was meant to be. That's what it was created to be. To a platform that censors conservatives on a regular basis, including the banning of President Trump, has often been denounced by conservatives. Yet, close observers of Twitter's internal politics, including his former employees, have observed that the real engine of the censorship inside the company was not Dorsey, as we all know, but the Trust and Safety Department, which sets censorship policies for the company. The Trust and Safety Department became increasingly influential as the media pushed for more social media censorship of conservatives in 2020. Political ran a gushing profile of the Trust and Safety Global lead by Jaya Gade, portraying herself as the driving force behind the policies that censored Donald Trump. Agrawal appears to have similar priorities. In his interview with MIT Technology Review last year, while he was CTO, Agrawal said free speech was no longer the focus of the company. Quote, "Our role is not to be bound by the First Amendment, but our role is to serve as a healthy public conversational. And our moves are reflective of things that we believe lead to a healthier public conversation." Quote, "The kind of things that we do about this focus less on thinking about free speech, yes, freedoms and liberties, who the hell cares about that, to a thinking about how times have changed." My thoughts. Well, as I said during the read, that Dorsey was never truly the enforcer. Just like the knucklehead clown over at Facebook. They're frontmen. That's what they are. They're frontmen. Just like Dementia Boy, he's a frontman because he's the puppet. You have other people pulling the strings. And sadly, as we've seen on a number of interviews, including one Joe Rogan, which is a absolute classic. I suggest you check it out if you haven't seen it or seen clips of it. Dorsey's not all there. Well, when you sit there drinking lattes and smoking weed, well, what are you going to do? But this guy Agrawal comes in. He's got a history. He's been with the company for about 10 years. And as we now know, homie's got a little bit of a racist streak running through him. So for those conservatives and libertarians on Twitter, I'm not one of them. I don't use Twitter. I use other alt tech. To me, I think Twitter is a cesspool of trash. You do have some good people on it. I think if you look at the percentages, I say about 25% is good. The other 75% is garbage and needs to be burned. But every once in a while, you'll find a gem on Twitter that you can actually use as news content. But in my opinion, I think things are just going to get worse for conservatives and libertarians out there who are still not 100% behind alt tech, like MeWe, Cloud Hub. You have Getter, which is the newest. It's been out for, I think, about 6 months now. You still have Parler out there. So they're there. You just need to know where to look. But it's, I think it's going to get, the old adage, it's going to get worse before it gets better. No, it's going to get better when you leave Twitter. It's just going to get worse if you stay. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below, like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.